Everybody good?
Yep.
All right. Dun, dun, dun. All right, everybody. Thank you to everybody who has been waiting in the lobby and has actually already started throwing some comments out there. So we are here. Sorry for the delay again. Guys, always do me a favor as I start this. This is going to be called a roundtable. We're hoping to do this often. We'll see how many times or when and where and how we do them, or we know how we're doing them. We're doing them like this. But if you guys can, and I always ask, if you have a Facebook group, share this. If you have Twitter, share it. Go ahead and share and spread the love so more people can be on here and we can all have fun interaction. So we're going to have topics to discuss and we will go from there. So you guys already know everybody here, I believe. RB. There
How
he
you guys
is.
doing?
Francis. You guys know Francis.
What's up, y'all?
And then Joe is also here.
Yo.
Joe with the good old yo. All right. Everybody's asking us already how we're doing. I think I'm good. I'm feeling okay. God bless. Thank God I'm okay. I'm feeling well.
That's right. Feeling great. No panic. No panicking over here.
No, we're over here. We're not panicking over here.
Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to have a topic. RB is going to start. It is then going to go to Joe and then Francis and then myself. And we will go from there. If you guys have any comments, if you want us to talk about something, throw them in the chat. I will read them off with your name and we will go from there. One more time, I ask, if you guys have not shared this, please share it. It definitely helps us. So with that being said, the first topic we are going to be discussing is the wild world that is the New York Yankees lineup. RB, I hand it to you, my friend.
All right. Because everybody's asking me, what do we do with this lineup? The first thing I'm doing, Jay Bruce out. Okay. That experiment is done. Like, he's batting what, 118? Since, like, come on. No, I feel like every time he's on first base, he's either scared, like, I don't know. He seems lost. We can't have that. I'd rather have DJ playing first. Odor second, Glaber second, or Odor second, then Gio short or Glaber short. But some changes needs to happen because too many. Aaron Hicks struggling. We don't sit him down. Bring up Mike Talkman. Like, what do we have Mike Talkman for? Like, start him. But yeah, to be honest, like I said in the group chat with you guys, call up Giddens. I'd be having people asking me about Giddens. Like, how come we haven't seen Giddens?
It's already in the comment section. People asking about Gittins.
Yeah, like he did well during spring training for Giddens. The time that he had up to bat. Call him up. Even call up Florial. I know P. You said that many times. So have I. Call up because this is his year. Like, what do you have? Bench Hicks. Like, we just need a spark in his lineup. Like, think outside the box. Move some pieces around, and who knows? Because if not, like you said, Pete, it's gonna look real bad if this lineup keeps producing poorly.
Yep. Joe, what you got for us?
Well, I mean, RB pretty much hit it spot on. The first thing I would do is just get rid of Bruce. He's basically just taking up a spot in the whole lineup. Even if you're not going to call up Giddens or Ford or anybody, I would even try Talkman at first because I don't see why we're going to waste Talkman's at bats because there's at least 3 people in the lineup I'd rather in there. I mean, I'd rather Talkman in there than Hicks. Hicks is wasting a spot. I mean, I don't know what's going on with him, but I just never seen him click as a Yankee. I mean, he had that good season of what, 19 or 18?
Yeah.
But even I just feel like he's trying to pull the ball too much. Even he said it. He's a home run hitter when he's not. And then the lineup just looks completely dead to me. I don't know if it's with the COVID vaccines. We've seen Gio out and Judge out because of the COVID vaccinations. But, I mean, we need some type of spark in there. I think Odor is a start, but I don't think it's anywhere close to finish. But I definitely would like to see Talkman, and especially Clint Frazier, actually get the playing time he does deserve.
We gonna have to talk about that. Francis, you go.
Yeah, man. Guys, I think it's real simple. I echo a lot of what Arby said, and I'm gonna say this, right? I feel like that spark that we need, it may not even be something from the outside. Like maybe it is Luke Voigt coming back. I don't know. We don't know what Voigt's gonna look like when he does come back, but Voigt does seem to have that presence about him, right? Yeah, I see it. Voigt seems to have that presence about him that he comes and he does seem to light a fire into this lineup. So maybe it's Voigt coming back. One thing I'd like to see when Voigt comes back is obviously, Voigt at first, DJ, not DJ at second. I'd like to see Voigt at first, Glaber back at second, DJ at third, and Gio at short. Since we saw that just now in the recent series. It wasn't bad. Gio looked good. I'd like to see them continue playing around with the infield. I know we're talking lineup, but I'd like to see them continue playing around with that infield. And of course, that'll translate to the lineup, obviously having those four guys in. And then I'm just going to echo what you guys said about Bruce. Bruce has got to go. I don't know what the deal is with Gittins. Gittins has looked amazing. 2 springs in a row. If you guys have been really paying attention, he's looked pretty good 2 springs in a row. And for whatever reason, the Yankees are like allergic to calling him up. I don't know what it is. If they see something that we don't, I don't know. And I was telling the guys before we jumped on live with you guys, I think Aaron Hicks is not a switch hitter. And I think if Aaron Hicks is ever really going to find his spark as a hitter, he needs to focus on one side of the plate, and that side is right-handed. So let Aaron Hicks platoon with somebody like a Talkman or a Gardner since he's there, right? Give Clint Frazier his job back and let Aaron Hicks platoon with one of these guys because he's the one who should be having at bats taken away from him, not young Clint Frazier.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with, everything everybody's saying here is very, very spot on. The main thing for me, I do think the experiments, because it is an experiment with Jay Bruce, is likely coming to a free fall. I think we're seeing that. We're witnessing that every day. The big thing for me is all off season, and this doesn't, like Francis said too, it doesn't have to come from the outside. It could be guys inside right now. They just need, how sick and tired I am now of seeing the Yankees have bases loaded, no outs, and get 1 run, or second and third, 1 out and score nothing. First and second, nothing. It's at the point where you're never going to win if that is your mindset as an offense. They needed to add more contact to this lineup. They didn't do it. All off season, I was talking about guys like Adam Frazier, guys who just make contact. People see Adam Frazier and go, oh, he doesn't hit with enough power or this and that. They don't need that. That's the last thing the Yankees need. So for me, yeah, I mean, if Aaron Hicks doesn't improve, you could either platoon him or, honestly, you got to get on the phone and see who's willing to take that $10 million right now and hope that you got a shot while he has some sort of value. Because in a year from now or 2 years, he might be the backup. He might be the 4th outfielder of this club, getting $10 million a year. And I mean, at the end of the day, whatever they do at first, the best option right now is DJ LeMahieu. That's the best option right now, is LeMahieu. And, from there, one thing about I have liked about Odor, though, is that he has hit the ball hard. Even some of his ground outs have been very, very hard. So he's making solid contact. Maybe being on a new club is bringing a little bit of extra life to him. But for me overall, leave Frazier in the lineup, Boone. Leave Clint in the lineup. Leave Frazier in the lineup. What in the world are you guys thinking? Is he injured? Is there an injury? Can we get an announcement and say, Yankee fans, look, we're playing Aaron Hicks for some reason, but we're going to sit Clint Frazier, who is young, is controllable, and earned it. These other guys haven't earned anything. What has Aaron Hicks earned? At least the guy put together some good at-bats last year. Why is he not getting regular playing time to get through whatever it is he has to get through? So that's the main thing right now that is definitely ticking me off. If you want to get mad about something, I think that's the thing Yankee fans will get mad at, is that he is the guy right now kind of being like almost a scapegoat. Like, well, he struggled, so we'll get somebody else in there. But that's the thing that's definitely bothering me right now.
Yeah.
Arby, you got anything? What do you guys, just to throw this around, because I did see some comments about Frazier already. What do you guys think? I mean, I know you guys think the same way I do on that, but what is behind it? What else could be behind it?
I have no idea, to be honest. Like his struggling, him struggling at the on the outfield, like I have no idea. Like I have no idea. It's just shocking to me. Like you tell the guy, oh, Clint Fraser, you're gonna be our starter in left field. Everybody's ecstatic. He deserved it. After 7 games, you're gonna bench the guy because he's struggling. I'm sorry,
Stupid.
Hicks is not struggling. Like everybody's struggling, and you're gonna bench Clint Fraser. Like I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Right.
He needs
Joe,
to
what do
start.
you think?
Well, first of all, I'm a big Clint Frazier guy. I've always loved him, and I'm happy he figured it out last year. I just don't understand why he's not in the lineup. Yeah, you could say, yeah, he's not hitting, but where do you want him to hit if you're putting him in one game and sitting him out two?
Bingo.
I don't understand it.
Bingo.
And then Bruce is going to be cut. So it's like, I would talk more about Bruce, but eventually he's going to be cut. And then the other big thing is I'd rather just put Talkman over Hicks because Talkman's somebody who will put the bat on the ball. And that's another bat that we need in that lineup.
Right. And Francis, before you talk about Frazier, I want to throw a comment out here at Cody, and then I'll actually say some of the comments that the everybody's saying in the live chat. But Cody makes a good point too. He said even when Frazier starts, he gets taken out of the game for defense. So
That's
Francis, pick up on that.
Which is absolutely nuts, right? If we're really gonna dissect it, Clint Frazier, out of everyone on the team who came up and struggled defensively, has made the most progress of all those players. Andujar still can't make the throw from third. Glaber, are we going to talk? Because you guys know. Clint Frazier do we remember last year? I mean, yes, it was a 60-game season, whatever, but do we remember like what he looked like in left last year?
He was a
do you remember the
conversation?
Do you remember the conversations that he was in as a left fielder last year? And we're removing him for defensive purposes. Like, what are we doing? It's like, I'm sorry. It's just that, just like you guys have said, like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I think he's made enough progress on the defense. I really like the way he's playing left field. I know he's making errors, but at least he's young, making like little mental mistakes. He hasn't cost us a game or anything out there. So it's like, I'm not taking him out of the lineup for that. And I agree with what Joe's saying. Like, how are we ever really going to know what Clint Frazier's ceiling is if whenever he's approaching it, we say, hey, man, come have a seat. Like, yeah, we don't need that right now. You're doing a little bit too relax, sit down. We don't need that. Like, I don't get. It's like, the Yankees are like, we just never let guys get into a rhythm. Like, we have a different we're still doing the thing with the different lineups and stuff like that or whatever. Like, the different defensive positioning. Like, we never just find a mold and like stick to it. Like, okay, this is our team. Yep. So get comfortable in your spot because these are your spots. It's like Boone said, our starting left fielder is Clint Frazier, the same way Gary Sanchez is catching Garrett Cole game one in the playoffs.
The only way I've only came up with like one idea on why he's being like sit. Maybe Cashman's trying to keep him healthy, trade him. That's the only reason I could think of it. But even then,
if
you're losing games without him.
But if that's the case, Cashman, get the hell off the Yankees.
Yeah.
Get away from the greatest franchise in sports history that are known for one thing, winning. Get off of them. If your idea now is to protect players, I want to throw out a super chat that we got here from this goes along with it. This is from Mr. Thompson here. The biggest issue the Yankees have is that they have too many DHs on the team. I'm sick and tired of the Yankees experimenting with players that don't play their natural position. I've rarely seen this. And I got many, at this point now in my life, I'm 32. I remember the 96 season, 97. I've seen the highs and the lows of the Yankees. I don't remember the Yankees ever just being like, hey, we'll start this guy at first base. Remember back in the day too, when they didn't have a first baseman, at least they got Doug Minkiewicz who could field.
Yeah.
They got guys that could actually play the position. I don't know what's going on with this club. It's like we don't even know who's running them at this moment. Like, the fans are obviously talking more sense than ownership is.
That's sad. That's embarrassing.
It's horrible.
Our team is being run by a group of faceless nerds, guys.
100%.
There's a brain of faceless nerds who are running the greatest franchise in sports history right now, and we don't even know what they look like.
No,
and they're calling the shots. They're the ones that are saying that Aaron Hicks is a number 3 hitter. That's their idea.
Yeah.
That's their bright idea. They're the ones who said, yeah, Jay Bruce, he needs these at-bats. Now that Voit is not going to be out until like mid-May. We got to give those at-bats to Gittins. Who's that? We don't know who he is. Does he hit with the right launch angle?
You guys know how I got to make a launch angle shirt. I got to break that baby out. I'm so sick of these new terms. Like, people argue with me too. And look, I know there's more than batting average. I know it. But show me where you can tell me you'd rather have Aaron Hicks, who hits 220, and oh my God, he might get on base a little bit, than somebody else that's hitting 285, hitting 20 homers a year, driving in runs, doing everything. Like, the whole analytical side of the game, I understand and I get it. And it's nice to know more what a player can do and what they kind of do that we don't really see. But we make too much excuses for guys who you don't see it with the eye test. And it's like, oh yeah, but he has this WXTYZ thing that is showing he's above average. Yeah, but what I see on the field is garbage.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The eye test is the most important thing. I don't care what. Listen, I understand the analytics. I understand that. Okay, it's important to the game, but the eye test, what do I see on the field, is what counts the most. And I don't know. I guess I'm old school. I don't know. Like, what I see on the field is crap. Like, we need to fix this right away, because if not, like what you guys said, we're gonna be in hell of a trouble.
Yeah, and we're gonna get that too. So the next topic, as I write it here, the next topic is the wonderful world of the Yankees' current rotation. So RB, take us away to matter of fact, take us to, you are now entering the Twilight Zone. you can go right ahead, my man. Go ahead.
All right. So for the rotation of the Yankees, we all can agree Garrett Cole, phenomenal so far. We all expected that from the offseason, spring training, phenomenal. And then the biggest question was, of course, Corey Kluber and Taillon. How are they going to perform? Are they going to be rusty? And so far, they haven't been great, but people need to they're already panicking on them too. And I understand, okay, but guys need to remember they haven't pitched in 2 years. They're probably still dealing with rust, trying to get into a rhythm. That's why me personally, I'm not panicking yet, because it's only been 2 starts for both of them. And the first outings, to be honest, it wasn't terrible. But you see, like for Taillon, he still got the heater, throwing 96. Like you said, Pete, if he gets into a rhythm, he's gonna be great. And with Kluber, we just gotta, we need to relax. It's only been 11, 12 games already. Let's just wait. Let's just see him and wait. And then after that, Monty, he's doing great. Monty, great. Herman, he just had, that one bad outing that he had. But let's see, we need to get these guys a little break. I understand, we can go bash them after a terrible start, but let's just, see how it goes, throughout the season. Let's just see. Let's not panic. But I would like to see Debbie at this point. They already sent down Herman. Let's see on Debbie Garcia to see what he got. Like I said, Cashman and Boone, whoever is making the shot, because we don't even know who's making the shots now. They gotta think outside the box and start thinking quick. Okay, guys, we gotta make some changes right away. Okay, because what we're doing so far is not working. So let's call up Debbie to give him a star or two to see how he does. Because we know the kind of stuff that Debbie, got. We seen him last season. He got some pretty filthy stuff, and he's done. He had some great games, and some not so good games. But we need a spark. We need to change and just have some type of spark, because what we have right now is not working. Right. And so far every pitcher besides Cole has been throwing 5 innings or less. Yep. Not even 6. We have in our bullpen, thankfully, is doing great. But then again, this continues. Our bullpen arms are going to be gassed out, and then we're going to be a hell of a trouble. So for the rotation, I won't panic just yet. I would like to see some, some more outings with our pitchers.
Yeah. All right, Joe, what do you got?
Well, I'm definitely following what Arby's saying. Well, Cole is definitely going to be a lock for one. Cole is doing what we know Cole is going to do. And then I know it's early, but everybody else besides Cole is just a question mark. And it sucks, but it's true. Everybody besides, I guess, Herman, when he gets called back up, is coming back from like a long injury. Tommy John, whatever Kluber came back from with his forearm. To me, I mean, I like talent. I mean, Tyun and Kluber. I think at least one of them needs to get it figured out. And then we have Garcia, King, that can back up the back of the rotation. I still don't think we have enough, even if these guys come. I think we need a number two, even if Sevy comes back and does what he does. I don't think this team's going to win if they don't have a number two in the lock. So, and then we need, I don't know. It's early, so you can't really get too into it because you never know. Every single guy could find it. But we just don't have a legitimate starter after Cole besides, I guess, Monty, who pitched, 5 innings against the Blue Jays last outing, and then he threw 6 shutout innings. I forgot against who. Might have been the Blue Jays too. Oh, Orioles. Yeah. So, I mean, it's early. Got to let these guys get a couple more outings. They're coming with big injuries, so it could be a rust. So, I definitely my hopes are higher with Tyun than Kluber. Maybe Kluber finds it, but again, it's early, so I really don't know too much to say.
Francis.
Yeah. So first things first, I'm going to skip Cole. You guys already heard about Cole. We all know what Cole does. I'm going to go Kluber, right? Kluber, I know it's been frustrating, but we were also speaking about this a little earlier, right? His stuff is there. His stuff is there. The control is all over the place, right? What I want to tell you guys, which might comfort some of you, I don't know, if some of the insane people out there might still go crazy, I don't know. But if you look at Kluber, even in his good years, right? His numbers in April, like his career ERA in April is still like a 4, almost 5. And I was looking at this, I think yesterday, because I was like, why do I get the feeling that like Kluber always kind of gives me this vibe early, like even in his good years? And I looked, and it's his career ERA in April he's always been he's a naturally slow starter, right? Coming back from an injury, I expect that to be even longer, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think his velocity is going to get like anywhere crazy, but the fact that his stuff is moving and the fact that he has like an idea of how to throw this mix of pitches is promising, right? Kluber might not be the guy who wins a huge game for us in the playoffs, but if he can pitch effectively enough to win us a few games in the dog days of summer, that's pretty much what he's here for, to keep the games close enough that we can win and do that, because that's what we need. He's not going to be the one that wins us a ring at the end of the day. Now, Tyone, on the other hand, also coming back from an injury, I think Tyone's stuff has been even more promising, but he's got the training wheels on, and that's going to be for a little while. So we got to be patient with Tyone. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I do, and I said this in my last video, the one before that, I do see the potential there for Tyone to like grow into that lockdown number 2 starter. My issue is that going to happen this year? Because if it's not, then this team's not winning a ring as currently constructed, because after Cole, you just got a bunch of question marks. Monty is very good. I think Monty is still very underrated. That performance that he had last year, Game 4 against Tampa Bay, like we celebrated it, whatever. And then this year we came and it's like people forgot. Like I think we still need to remember what Jordan Montgomery did for us in Game 4. After Game 3, everybody wrote us off. Everybody said the series is over. That's it. All they have left is Jordan Montgomery to go in Game 4. He's going to get shelled. He's not going to be able to give them more than 3 innings. He won us that game on the mound. And he didn't give us like lights out 7-inning performance, but he did enough as a young arm. And I don't think you could have asked more from him in that moment. So what he showed me last year in the postseason is enough for me to give him a shot this year. And he's going to get that shot this year, unless for whatever reason they decide to treat him like the redheaded stepchild. But outside of him and Cole and Sevy coming back, I mean, again, we all say Sevy coming back, but we don't We don't know what Sevy's going to be when he comes back. I hate to be that guy. I'm not trying to be negative or pessimistic, but we do not know what Sevy's going to be when he comes back. We don't know what the velocity is going to look like. We don't know what the control is going to look like. We don't know when he's coming back. They say, oh, end of May, early June, but remember 3 weeks? I'm sure Pete remembers 3 weeks when Aaron Judge was Mr. 3 weeks, right? So we don't even know when Sevy's really coming back. And when he does come back, he's going to probably have a slow start, much like Kluber, Tyone, and all that. So when will we see the real Luis Severino? Like end of August, early September? And is that going to be enough for us to say, like, yeah, we trust you taking the ball in game 2? I don't know.
Right, 100%. You know, I'm gonna skip this guy. You know, Cole, like we said, this man right here. We really don't have much to. We don't got G Cole money, man. We don't got much to talk about when it comes to this guy. We know what he's gonna give us and go from there. Monty, again, I like Monty. I talked about it. During spring, I said he's the guy I'm most excited to watch. I always thought he's very good. He comes over, you know, his arm angle is very deceptive. It's over the top. You really can't judge the fastball, changeup, or curveball, what's coming out. He repeats his delivery very well. He got everything you like. He's tall. He's big. He has a presence on the mound. He's competitive. Everything you like from a pitcher. I let him go as long as possible. Kluber, I agree with Francis. I think Kluber looked very good. And you know, a lot of people may be like, well, what are you talking about? I'm talking stuff-wise. His biggest problem right now is command. He has no command whatsoever. So his slider looks terrific. His fastball arb you were talking about, he was hitting 93. So the velocity is there. Can I sit here and say I believe there's going to be a bounce back? I can't say that. You know, I don't have faith in that. I'm hopeful. And we talked about hope, and the Yankees are relying on a lot of hope right now, especially in the rotation. Jameson Taillon, if anybody has followed me for multiple years, you know how much I like Jameson Taillon. I was probably one of the only people talking about the Yankees getting him for years, along with Cole back in the day. But Taillon's another guy that always had that stuff, and he's one of those guys, like, for an example, Ke'Bryan Hayes now with Pittsburgh. He's not going to be there forever. You know he's going to get dealt eventually. And that was always one of those aspect guys. You look forward, you go, oh, maybe Taillon could be a Yankee. And then he had his injuries. But when you see the change in an arm angle, and David Cohn talked about this and a few others, you understand who the person is. This is a guy who wants to be good. He's not happy with his start. He doesn't want to come out after 70 pitches. He doesn't want to come out after 80. You gave this guy the ball, he's going to throw 100 plus and see what happens. He's not worried about his next injury. He's worried about the next time he could be on a mound. He's happy to be on a mound. Yeah. So this guy, I'm giving him his shot. I really am. I enjoy him. I like him. The velocity is good. He's throwing harder than expected. I said it early. I think maybe his first spring training start, a second one. He had good command that day. And I said, the thing I liked about him was that even if he's throwing 90 to 93, he's a pitcher's pitcher. He could pitch. Yeah. So he doesn't need to blow guys away. But that's a good sign that he got good velocity. I don't think he's overthrowing. I think it has a lot to do with the new arm angle. It's different. So he's still learning that. And these are, by the way, folks, these are things that our GM, who is in control of the greatest sports franchise in the planet, knew. That's who he put here. So he knew that. So when we talk about, I know a lot of you, I think all you guys brought up Garcia. I don't know if you saw the most recent comments by Matt Blake. He didn't seem too high on him during spring. I mean, my man was like, he got things he need to work on. He can't put guys away. So there's things he needs to work. I don't think you see Garcia up anytime soon. I really don't. I don't think those comments right there to me were, he's not ready for this league. What happened last year, we needed him, and we'll go about it that way. But if we don't need him, he's not coming up yet.
And P, you said that.
Yeah.
In the previous chat, like you would like to have Schmidt and Garcia stay in AAA this year.
100%. Well, the thing too, and if you remember, even before Garcia came up, one of the things that from people that I speak to, they always said Schmidt is the better overall pitcher. That they always felt that Garcia, with his body frame, he may be more of a bullpen guy. But I've also had people tell me they think he has a chance to be a top of the line starter. But the Yankees right now, and the man in charge of their pitching and all the analytical stuff that we think he's the guy in charge. But his comments really kind of made me just feel like unless there's an injury, you're probably not going to see him anytime soon. Mike King is the next guy up, and King's another guy. He's another hopeful. I just got to keep it real. Look, and yeah, young guys are always going to be hopefuls because they don't have a track record. But his only track record is a dominating performance. It was a dominating performance. So, hey, that's better than what most of the other guys in the rotation could say right now. So when you're looking, the next topic we'll talk about after I get to some of the questions here is going to be the outlook of the Yankees and how this thing could go.
Hold on. Can I just add one thing before we move off of pitching?
Please,
I'm so sorry. I thought about it now, and I'm sorry I didn't say this before. But this is just my personal experience. I don't know if it's really a thing in the major leagues. But so coming up in high school, like I was a pitcher in junior high, I was a pitcher in high school, travel ball, everything, right? My mentality, right, at the beginning of the year, when my coach would tell me, okay, you're starting and you have 65, right? If you're telling me a number before I go out there, right? And I go through the first inning and I have a rough first inning and I'm at 20 and I'm knowing that I got 65 to play with today, it's a lot harder to get through that second and third inning now, because now all I'm thinking of is, all right, maybe let me pitch to contact. Maybe let me not use this because this is like a swing and miss pitch and I need less swing and miss and more ground outs and more pop out. And you start getting in your head and you start trying to do things that weren't in the game plan when you were going in. And I think this is a possibility of something that might be happening with a guy like Tyone and a guy like Kluber, where they know what they want to do, but they also know, listen, there's a limit and we're not letting you go over that limit. And we've seen Boone is not playing. Who knows? It's not Boone. We know Boone is just a mouthpiece, but whoever it is not playing with that pitch count limit. And they know when they step on that mound at the top of the game, there's a number. And when you get to that number, you're done. So once you have a rough inning here and a rough inning there, it starts playing in the back of your head and you start counting down. You almost start taking yourself out of the game before the manager's even out of the dugout because you had a bad inning here or there. And it's not the same. Whereas a guy like Cole, you saw when Cole struggled early against the Blue Jays, Cole's not tripping. Why? Because if Boone even thinks to come to that top step, he's going to beat him. Like, what are you doing? Like, do you know who I am? Like, you're not coming to take me out of this game on some Messina. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not saying Cole obviously has way different stuff, but I'm saying Cole has a freedom when he's on that mound that he can go. He knows he can go. Whereas right now, Tyone, Kluber, these guys, they know that their pitches are numbered. And if they have a rough first inning or second inning, we can pretty much put away any thoughts of them going 6 or 7 because the limit's going to be what it is.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I said that on the last one of the podcasts, I think before the season, I mentioned that I don't want these guys to have this mindset. I hate that idea. I hate the idea of telling these guys, like I said, Tyone, I understand he's coming back from a major injury. But isn't it more of a, I know baseball players are tough. And I think Cone talked about this too. He said, most of these guys aren't going to tell you the truth about how they're feeling because they want to stay out there. They're competitors. That's why they play in Major League Baseball. They want to compete. But I almost feel like you do have to take some sort of value in what the guys are telling you. So if you're going out there, and let's say a month from now, let's just say in the next 4 starts, Tyone, for an example, really turns it around. He goes 5 innings, dominates. Next start, 5 innings. He never goes above 5. They don't allow him to. He just does very good. He pitches next 20 innings, gives up 4 or 5 earned runs. Doing well. At some point, do the Yankees ever, and it's almost sad that we got to talk this way, but do they ever release the brake a little bit and go, yeah, don't worry about those innings things anymore. We're gonna see you as we see Cole and as we see Montgomery. If you struggle, maybe you have a really long inning, we may take you out.
I don't know if the Yankees are like smart enough to realize that that's what they need to do to bring out the best in this rotation. And that's what's scary about this. Like, a guy like Tyone is young, but he's been through a lot already. And this guy probably has a knowledge of his body that most kids his age don't have. If Tyone is at 77, 78, 79, and he comes back into the dugout after an inning, and he's looking Booney dead in the eye saying, listen, I got another 30 in me, right? Meet him halfway at least. Don't just say, nah, man, you're done. Now, at least let him go out there and give him 15. See what the next 15 look like in the next inning, because for all you know, he gets out, he goes 1, 2, 3 in like 7 or 8 pitches. Right?
I don't know, man. Boone would probably get hit with a binder or something by one of those nerds. They'll create an equation or something. They'll create an equation. How far they got to be to throw it and get that launch angle on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It comes down to trust at the end of the day. Trust, like, it's like what you said, Pete, and you guys. Yeah, we understand that Taillon has a history of injuries. We understand right now, it's 4 innings, 5 innings tops. So that we can get to a rhythm. But later on throughout the season, eventually you have to trust Taillon. Hey, 6 innings, 7 innings plus, depending on how you're pitching that game, I'm gonna let you pitch. But I understand right now there's a limit because the injury and probably try to knock some rust off, like I said earlier. But eventually we're gonna have to start trusting our guys. Hey, Boone, I can pitch 5+ innings. Don't take me out. If you see me struggling, let me fix the problem. You know what I mean? You can't just, once you see Kluber or Taillon or anybody struggling, take them out right away. Like, you're messing with their confidence. So I'm hoping eventually, like, Taillon pitches more than 5 innings. If he's pitching great, let him pitch, and with Kluber as well, because I'm sick and tired of these pitch counts. Besides Cole, it's never gonna work. It's not working, and it's never gonna work. So we're gonna have to start trusting our guys.
100%. Joe, do you got anything to add on that before we get to some of the live chat questions?
Yeah, I just feel like what everybody else is saying, like there isn't trust in any of the guys on the team, and I don't know where this started from, but I don't know if it has to do with the new management, whatever, but I just feel like it's just like a messed up job site with the boss. It's just like terrible. It just seems like a big mess. I just don't feel like the manager has, Boone, I just don't feel like Boone has trust in his guys. And I think his guys are starting to see that.
Joe, I don't want to interrupt you, but when you said that, it's funny because it brings up something I said a lot. And the Yankees get off to slow starts, but I almost feel like they're never ready for the season. Under Boone since 2018, I don't care what anybody says. Remember the first year they made nothing but errors? Like nobody knew what the hell was going on. We were watching it. I remember the first thing I'm saying, I'm like, what did these guys do in spring? It was the weirdest thing in the world. It's like they had nothing. It's like they were playing teams and they didn't even know what they were supposed to be doing. Right? It's like, is this a regular season game? Like, where are we? They were horrible, and they're doing it again this year. It's I always call it the sloppy Yankees. That's who we're seeing right now. We're seeing the sloppy Yankees. It's been very sloppy under Boone.
It's like in their mind, they're like, we're the Yankees. We know we're going to make the playoffs, all right? So we're going to take it easy in the beginning. Once we get closer to where it counts, quote unquote, then we're going to start playing for real. But if that is the case, that's terrible mindset. You start off from the beginning hot and continue on.
Yep.
Because these games are going to count at the end.
And that's not going to work anymore because this isn't the 90s anymore.
And everybody's getting better too.
You don't have those exactly. You don't have those teams that you had in the 90s. Toronto is rearing to go from game one. Why? Because they want to take our heads off.
Yep.
They want to take our heads off. Tampa Bay, they don't care that they lost Blake Snell and that Charlie Morton is in it. They don't care. They still want to take our heads off. Boston doesn't care that they don't have a pitcher and they have a bunch of Uber drivers starting games. They want to take our heads off. And the Yankees are sitting here like, nah, man, we're the Yankees. We'll show up in July sometime or, it's like, what are you doing? Like in July, you could be like 10 games out of first if you continue with that mindset. Not saying that this team is going to be 10 games out of first in July. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying mindset is what we're talking about. Mindset. That kind of mindset.
And we're gonna get to the what we see as the future going forward. But let's get to a couple of questions. So this one's gonna be really quick. Chris Gittins right now over Jay Bruce. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a hell yes.
Anybody over Bruce at this point.
All right. So that one, that's an easy one across the board. Next one is from Perry. Do you think it's time to move on from Marcus Thames? The team's plate approach has gotten worse each year under him. Arby, what do you think?
Let's say we move on from him. Who's going to be our hitting coach? Like, what are some options, like candidates that we have in mind? Like, I have, like, I understand people's frustration with him. I understand that it has gotten worse, but I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day,
I don't think it matters.
yeah, Marcus Thames is not batting, is the players. So at the I like you said, Joe, it does, for me, it doesn't matter. Like, but then again, I understand people's frustration. But as long as if you guys have any candidates for a hitting coach, go ahead, shoot them. But
I think the hitting coach, it's the computer. It's everything's computers. It's I don't think computers and whoever's behind Thames is really running it. I don't really think anybody in that dugout's really doing anything for the players.
They got a guy playing MLB The Show in the back telling them what to do ahead of time.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Like, let me ask something. Like, were we complaining 2 years ago when the Yankees led the league in home runs? Like, when we was hitting balls left and right?
But my thing on that is, but was the approach still good? You know what I mean?
No.
And this kind of leads in. This kind of leads into the next question. I don't think this has anything to do with it because I just think the Yankees aren't hitting. Is the less juiced ball having anything to do with the Yankees? And I just say no at all. So for me, could they get rid of Thames? I mean, yeah, if you want to make him the scapegoat, okay, make him the scapegoat, but you better start hitting. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's not going up there taking hacks. Look, I could point to just about everybody on this team and say they've had horrible at-bats. I mean, just terrible at-bats. Look at the times they got men on base. I remember the one game, I forgot which one it was, but they immediately had first and second, and I think it was Hicks and Stanton back-to-back. And they both struck out, but the swings they're taking, it's like, guys, who said it's a walk-off homer here? Like, all you need to do is maybe put the ball to the right side, do something, make deep fly. I don't know, anything other than striking out. Do something for us. It was a 0-2 pitch to Hicks or a 1-2, and his last swing left-handed was like he was looking to put the ball to Jupiter. Like, what are you thinking? What are you doing? But that approach, even from the last time they won the World Series in 2009, and it's not the same lineup. The lineup is very different. But man, that team, that top of the order, Jeter, Damon, just that you knew these guys weren't going up there to strike out 140 times a year. They put the ball in play. They made things happen. That's what this team needs, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a lot in our projections. But Francis, I know you definitely wanted to pick up on the Thames thing and just the approach of the team.
No, so with Thames, I'll say this. I agree. Like, would it change much? Probably not, right? And when Arby says, "Oh, like what candidate do you have?" It's funny. The first candidate that came to my mind is your last name, right? Beltran. Right. Yeah. And the reason I say Beltran is because Beltran's respect amongst young hitters in the league is through the roof. Like Gleyber Torres, it's clear he's not listening to anyone right now. He's not listening to anyone. He thinks that he has it figured out. He's on his Willie Mays Hayes. I'm a power hitter now. Don't talk to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm Gleyber Torres, GT. I got the brand, the smile, the Instagram. Like, I know what I'm doing. And it's like, dude, relax. Like, you're 23 years old. You had a decent year, but the balls were juiced. Everybody knows that. Like, let's rein it in and if you want it, you're good, but do you want to be great kind of thing? And I feel like we need somebody who's going to talk to the lineup in that way. Now, is that going to be a hitting coach? I don't know. Like, because you could bring Beltran and do it, but like, is the moment Beltran screams at Gleyber Torres for striking out 3 times in a game, is he going to get fired? Because the way that the Yankees are owned and are running and operated right now, he'd probably lose his job if he screamed at Gleyber Torres going 0-for-3 with three strikeouts, right? Because that's why Girardi lost his job. Exactly.
Yep.
So that's the team. That's the team that we're fans of right now. It's a team where you can't hurt these guys' feelings. Like, Aaron Judge, he's 7 foot tall, weighs however much, but like, don't you dare speak to that man in a bad way. All right. If you don't, you dare. Like, it's like, I get like, player first managers and stuff like that, maybe in the NBA. But this is Major League Baseball. Like, we don't have time for your feelings, dude. Like, you need to come up there and have a better approach. You can't be striking out at balls down the middle. Like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? So it's like, and my last thing is just on approach. And And our approach this year has been absolutely atrocious. And it hasn't been different from like 2019 or anything like that. But that's the issue.
Bingo.
It's that every year we're showing
Bingo.
up with the same approach and expecting for something different to happen. That's the definition of insanity. Like doing the same thing over, expecting something different. Our approach needs to be, we know who the power guys are, and the rest of you need to get on. Like DJ LeMahieu, the reason I love him is because he knows what he's there to do. It's not that he doesn't hit home runs, because he smacks home runs. He tied that game against the Astros, if we remember. Like, he hits home runs. He does exactly. He just seems to do exactly what's needed when it's needed. That's the kind of hitter that we need. Judge is our power guy. He's our all around everything guy. He's the focal point of the lineup. Stanton, he's a bopper. Okay. Sanchez, we know what Sanchez is. Gleyber Torres does not need to be swinging the way that Giancarlo Stanton is swinging. You understand? Aaron Hicks does not need to be swinging the way that Stanton is swinging. Like, these guys need to be swinging for contact. Urshela seems to get it. He seems to get it. Frazier, even though they won't let him play, and maybe it's because they won't. Maybe the reason they won't let him play is because he seems to get it.
Hey, no, I figured it out. I figured it out. Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone's on DraftKings. He's betting the games. Booney, I'm on to you. He's saying 7th inning. Okay, hey, Clint, we need you in, baby. But moving on to one more question. And then that's actually going to lead in right to our last topic of the day. But I felt like I wanted to add something else to, like Francis, you said, you're right, man. It's like if you tell your doctor, hey doc, I'm, last year, I told you I was going to lose 20 pounds. I didn't do it. And the doctor looks at you and goes, what did you do different? Well, nothing. That's the Yankees. Look, I've been ripping my hair out. Every fan that I talk to keeps saying they got too much power, too many DH guys. They need to add contact. And what did they do to address that? Everybody could see it. It's as clear as day. And there's been nothing done to address that whatsoever. No, even a bench guy. Think about that for a second. Even a bench guy, you still got Tyler Wade. There has been truly nothing out there that makes me confident unless they turn it around. And man, I got some, I got a video that is going to come out here in a couple of days about the position of shortstop, and a big rumor that it's going to pick up a lot of steam here in the next couple of months. And we'll get to that eventually. And I'm sure as we talk about the next topic. So the next topic is going to be, what does the future hold for the Yankees this year? And L.I. Yankee King, who is in the chat here, said, is it time for this team to have a complete reset? And my opinion of that, I'll throw it out there quickly. No, the Yankees are like, the Yankees are a puzzle missing a few pieces. Simple as that. They're not the puzzle that you break apart and go, I'm going to redo it because I'm bored. It's not that. They're not there yet. Look, they have a good lineup. They have a really good lineup. They needed to add a little something to it. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll start this one off since I'm already yapping there, and I'll let you guys go. And I'm sure we'll probably have a lot to talk about here when it comes to the future of this club. But on the offensive side, man, all I needed the Yankees to do was to add some sort of bat that puts the ball in play. Talked about it multiple times before. The Yankees have had interest before. I reported on that. Adam Frazier, lefty bat. Look his stats up. Look at his balls batted into play. He doesn't strike out. Yeah, he's not a big bopper, but we don't need that. We need guys that make contact. I'm sick and tired of having second and third, bases loaded, less than 2 outs, and the Yankees end up maybe scoring 1 run. Tired of it. So for me, where they have to go is they got to decide, when Voit comes back, and I'm going to throw this out to you guys because I want you guys to talk about it some more. I think everybody agrees that the Gleyber experience as short might be over. Because here's my concern with Gleyber, is that he becomes Chuck Knobloch, and he just can't handle the mental pressure anymore of it. He can't do it no more. That's my concern, is that the bat struggles because the defense is on his mind all the time. Mm-hmm. We also forget He's playing the position that Derek Jeter not long ago played. Fans still remember that. Hell, Didi Gregorius was also here playing great defense. Not a big fan of Didi or him coming back as a lot of people wanted, but he played defense, and we saw that. Now we're getting a shortstop who, when the balls hit to him, I'm terrified. I don't know what's going to happen. So there is guys that the Yankees have on the rise. We know that. You know, a name that there's a few names out there to keep an eye on for the Yankees. Florial, I think, is a guy like Arby, and Arby said earlier that really needs if it's going to be the year, it's going to be this year. You got to come out and do something. There's possible names out there. I'll tell you guys this right now before I release my video. The Yankees are going to have interest in Trevor Story. That's been confirmed to me today. The plan there is if the Yankees feel, they're not getting Sager. Sager's not being traded. If the Yankees feel they can get ahead of the ball, they may be able to underpay than other guys would get when they're all lumped together. We'll see. That's what I was told a couple of days ago. And there's even more to that, so I can't break it all down now, but I will. But the Yankees will have interest in Trevor Story, so that's gonna be a storyline here in the next couple of months. What that means for Gleyber Torres, what that means for the Yankees infield, I don't know, because there is questions. Is Luke Voit the odd man out? Look, we love him. You can see 4 of the guys here have a Luke Voit shirt on. And it's not because, it's NYYNEWS merchandise. I love Luke Voit. He's the only guy that talks real.
Yeah.
You watch Luke Voit thing. He just, it's like, can Aaron Boone do this? The man comes out. No, we didn't play good. We lost.
We sucked.
We sucked. We were bad. It's like, even when they asked him something recently, and he's like, well, if all of us could stay healthy, it'll be nice. We could do good things if we never on the field together. So, he's a guy that I absolutely love. I enjoy him. I don't know. Is Marquez a part of that deal with Story? Do they go major blockbuster George Steinbrenner type deal to really try to move this team forward? Do they look for like Arby? I'm gonna take your guy immediately, Max Scherzer, or Francis. I think you said that too. What the moves are out there, we don't know right now. But my outcome for this team, and I said this before we went live, is either one of two things will happen. This team will put it together and they're going to do well, or the pitching never comes around. And this team is a major, major disappointment. Arguably one of the biggest disappointing seasons in Yankee history. And that's a big thing I'm saying there. But the signs are there already. So they got a crowded team. They don't got a place to put everybody. We got a shortstop who can't field. Nobody knows who's playing first base. We got 2 starting pitchers that if one of them don't pan out, we're screwed. Yeah. Unless again, we hope that Mike King does something that none of us expect. Domingo Germán comes back and is terrific. Davy Garcia is great. And again, we just cross our fingers and hope. But, or these guys turn it around and they can have a very successful season. But I think it all depends on moves that Brian Cashman makes at the deadline. Story, as some people are saying in the comments, I understand it. He is a big strikeout guy. Strikes out a lot. But he's also something I think the Yankees struggle with a bit. He is a leader. Let me tell you now, Trevor Story's a leader. He's a leader. You can see the passion. You watch the man play a little bit. And by the way, great defensive shortstop. Arguably one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of things the Yankees are missing out on right now. So Trevor Story really does add that. It also depends on what you're giving up. And at this point, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I do not care. If the Yankees win, I don't care who you're giving up. We talked about that before. Corbin right now got a 21 ERA and had somebody messing me. Oh, Pete, the guy you wanted sucks, doesn't he? My man, they won a World Series. I don't care. They don't care.
It's also April 15th.
It's also early. So, Arby, that's my take. I'm gonna throw it over to you.
All right. Well, piggyback to the first question, what LI Yankee King said, is it time to reset? Hell no. Okay. These are the Yankees. Okay.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that one more time?
Hell no.
There
This is not. This is the Yankees. Okay. This is not the Baltimore Orioles, Pirates. No. It's win the World Series or bust. Okay. Especially we have Garrett Cole. We are wasting Garrett Cole prime years. You know, and everybody else is Judge, Glaber, Sanchez, Gio. We can't be wasting their prime years because then we're really going to be screwed at the end. So no, we cannot reset. That shouldn't even be a thought process right now. Our window is now to win. And like you said, Pete, we have to make the necessary changes. Like I said in my earlier videos, this is the year that the Yankees have to go all in. You know, think outside the box at the trade deadline, be aggressive. Because the past 2 seasons, we haven't made no trades. God knows why. This season, if you see there's question marks everywhere. The rotation, the lineup, the bench, everywhere there's question marks. We don't know who's playing where. We have to sit down and say, okay, you're going to play first base. That's your position. You stay there. Glaber, you're second base. Okay, we tried you as shortstop. Didn't work out. Didn't plan out. We're going to move you. Like, we have to be firm and figure it out. Okay, and realize, okay, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to roll with it. And to piggyback with you said about Glaber, I'm on the fence now on Glaber playing short. But like you said, I think it's all mental when it comes to defense. I think it is all mental and it's all in his head. He needs to relax. Like you said, he's stepping in Derek Jeter's shoes. It's not easy. You know, even though Didi played great defense, but still, it's big shoes to fill in. And I'm willing to give Glaber a couple more games. But if he continues to struggle mentally, throwing, errors, he doesn't have a strong arm. That's the problem. I don't know if Boone, Cashman don't see that. He doesn't have enough strong arm to get to first. That's the issue. Even Cashman, I mentioned to you guys in a group chat, Cashman on the interview during spring training said that Glaber is a better second baseman than shortstop. When did you ever see Cashman publicly talking about their players like that?
By the way, that's the guy who's putting these guys in position. So that's the crazy thing. He's the one putting them there.
So what are we exactly? So it's mind-boggling to me. You complain about a player, oh, he's better at second baseman than shortstop, but you put him at shortstop. And then you publicly saying Gleyber Torres is our future shortstop, presently and future. So what's going on here? Like, there's something not clicking in the front office. And like you said,
Arby, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Somebody said in the comments, Arby, you are wrong. The Yankees did make a trade at the deadline. They got Alfredo Garcia. I just wanted to throw that one out there. Alfredo Garcia, but go ahead.
Oh, my Lord.
That was a good interruption. I had to interrupt.
All right, one trade. not a game changer, but okay. But like you said, if we can start clicking this lineup healthy, the best lineup in the American League, top to bottom. People say the Chicago White Sox. Listen, we'll take them 1 through 9 healthy. Come on now, let's go. Okay, like I said, I'll go with anybody. I'm not scared of no team. Once we are healthy and clicking, I'll go up against anybody. I'm not afraid of anybody. But right now, we're dealing with a lot of question marks, injuries. Of course, once Voit comes, that's a big question now. First base, where DJ, where are we gonna how are we gonna be switching all these players? Like, where are we gonna put them at? So that's why I said in the trade deadline, we got to be aggressive. Like you said, the Yankees have interest in Story. He's close friends with DJ. I didn't know that, but because I have people writing to me, oh, would you trade Glaber for Story? And to be honest, I don't think it would take Glaber to get Story.
You're also going to hear that he wants to be a Yankee, by the way. So keep that in mind. You're going to hear that very soon. Remember when he came up, number 2. He's a huge Derek Jeter fan, but he wants to be a Yankee Bay. You're going to hear about that soon.
There you go. So if that's not music to Cashman ears, okay, let's make this happen. The only way I would consider trading Glaber if the Rockets include Marquez. and Story. But straight up, one for one, I don't know. Because Story, I think, is 28, 29, and Glaber is 24. And we control Glaber for 4 years, I believe. But they gotta be aggressive this year. This year they gotta put the chips all in the table. Listen, we're gonna go swinging. We miss, but there's no excuse at all. If the Yankees don't make a trade at the trade deadline, I will go insane. I will be bald. 2 years in a row not making trades. Well, one of the comments, we made a trade, Garcia.
You might as well give me a bowl of Alfredo instead. What do you need, Alfredo Garcia?
Exactly. It'd do you a lot better.
But if we do acquire, like you said, P, I agree with you. Story's a game changer. He's a leader. And like you said, he's one of the best defenders, if not the best, one of the best shortstop. That's what we need. I keep telling people, that's why in the offseason, I was urging the Yankees to trade for Lindor. Because that combo, Lindor and Glaber playing second, Lindor shortstop, and move DJ to first base. That was my vision. Like that would have been insane. And to be honest, I hate to say it, I know Luke Voigt is one of the fan favorites, but I do think if a trade happens, a blockbuster, I do think Voigt will be the odd man out. Because like you said, Pete, Story plays short, Glaber second, DJ's playing first. You're not going to have DJ playing third base. He doesn't have enough strong arm to go to first. Unless a team miraculously say, hey, we want Stanton. We would trade for Stanton. There you go. But other than that,
we'll bring that up. I have a couple of comments too I want to save here about Voigt and also Stanton. Joe, you go ahead and you get your part in.
Yep. I mean, for the future of the Yankees, I don't want to look too deep into the future, but for right now, if you don't win this trade deadline, because we're not the team going all out at this trade deadline, you're not winning. And that's just sad because this team, everybody in this team right now is in their prime. You have Garrett Cole in his prime. You have to go all in. You need to win. And with the question marks, there's two big question marks for me. It's starting rotation, and then it's the shortstop position. Yeah, I think when Voigt comes back, we'll be a little bit more comfortable with the infield, but it's just like shortstop for me. I'd rather have I don't even know who would be able to play short because like it just messes up the whole infield, especially when Voigt comes back. But I think this deadline, if Story's available, I think you need to go all out for him. And then, I mean, what would it really take? What is your guys' opinions on what it would take to get? Because Story, what is he going to be a free agent after this year? So he's a rental. So would it really be considered a blockbuster trade if he's a rental? Would you really have to give up Glaber in a trade to the Rockies?
They'll want him.
I know they'll want him.
Every team wants Glaber.
If we're gonna get rid of Glaber, I mean, I used to be one of the fans who used to say Glaber's the future, but now like 2021, I think our best bet is getting Story, especially Story. I've been watching him. I've always loved him. He wants to be a Yankee. He's one of those players that wants to be a Yankee, and I think they can make it happen, especially with the market, how the market's going to fluctuate this year with COVID and everything, all the shortstops on the market. I would definitely make a signing, or at least if we can trade him for him, I would love Story. I think Story solves so much with this team. And then starting rotation, if we need somebody to click. We need somebody that can click next to Cole that you can at least lock in for game 1, game 2. If there's a trade out there that they can make for a number 2, like Luis Castillo, what's his name? Marquez. Yep. Just so many question marks right now, and I think you need to get that lock in number 2 in the rotation, and it's just that shortstop position for me. Everything else can be filled out.
100%. Francis, what do you got for us?
Yeah. All right. You guys have heard this a million times, and I'm going to say it again. Championship teams are great up the middle, right?
Oh.
Catcher, starting pitching, second base, shortstop, center field. When I look at the New York Yankees, right? Center field, big, right? Second base, if DJ's there, okay, but shortstop, absolutely not. That's not going to get it done. Starting pitching, Garrett Cole, game one, game 4, game 7, if necessary. I'm in. Sign me up. We still need a number 2. Catching. Believe it or not, I'm pretty confident in our catching right now. I think the combo of Gary Sanchez and Higgy, that could get it done. But yeah, we're not built properly up the middle for me to look at this and say this is a championship team. So obviously what I'm looking at, like, and to answer, was it Adam or LI Yankee King that asked the question, like, is it time to hit the reset button? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to double down on that. Hell no. Why? Because how do you reset when you just signed Cole to like $324 million? Like, I'm sorry, like you can't reset 9 years, 20.
If that was the case, I meant to say it because somebody DM'd me. Let the man go to San Diego. Let him win.
Exactly.
Like, I'm here to reset.
We're not resetting. You got to understand. Look, the way the new blueprint, unfortunately, the Yankees are no longer like the originators of like how to win, like because how and there's things have changed. We'll probably get into that at a next roundtable. But there's a new blueprint, and the blueprint is over there in the West Coast. If you want to see how it's done, the Dodgers, they kept at it. They kept adding and subtracting and retooling and they traded for Machado. They kept moving. They took on David Price's contract because it meant Mookie Betts and whatever. They kept moving pieces, retooling. They didn't reset. They didn't reset. And there was remember when they got smoked out? What was it? They got smoked by, was it the Nats in the division series, something like that, a couple years back?
Yep.
And everybody was like, uh-oh, that's it. That's it. You gotta. I saw people literally saying, blow this up. Blow it up. Blow it up, right? Did you see last year? Blow it up. We can't blow up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you don't blow up Aaron Judge in his prime with Garrett Cole in his prime with DJ LeMahieu still at the end of his prime, yes, but still prime. Like you don't blow that up. We have a core of people, and I know that in the beginning of the season it doesn't seem like it's much. But when it starts clicking off, a lot of you are going to start to come back to earth and start to realize, wow, this team actually is pretty good. Yeah, no, we're pretty damn good. There's a reason that probably 8 out of 10 analysts say the Yankees are coming out of the AL this year, because even if the pitching doesn't click off, a lineup that features LeMahieu, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Gary Sanchez, Gleyber Torres, Gio Urshela, Clint Frazier, like Luke Voigt, who was the home run leader in the 60 games, a lineup that features that many people more often than not is going to get it done, right? So what we need to do is figure out, the way the Dodgers did, how do you plug and play with this team? If the story thing happens, we're golden. We're golden. If that means we sacrifice Luke Voigt, I'm telling you, from a fan perspective, it sucks. But from a winning perspective, it's what has to be done. Do you remember? You remember when Thanos goes to get the Soul Stone? you gotta sacrifice. I think Luke Voigt is that sacrifice. We gotta get Luke Voigt, and we get the Trevor Story Soul Stone and her mom and German Marquez, and it's like all of a sudden, that's it. We got it, and we get the gauntlet fill. It's like, because that, I think we're literally those pieces away. It's not that Marquez is gonna come over here and light it up the way Cole does, but he's going to be very good pitching behind Cole. It's not that Story is going to be the best hitter on the team, but he's going to change the face of this lineup in a very big way. Yes, he strikes out. Yes, I understand that. But he's not a player like Gleyber. Like Pete was saying before, this is really important. Like, I don't know, we're not hitting like, what do you say, like panic button, or we're not like over-exaggerating with the Gleyber defense thing. If this lasts a couple months longer with Gleyber not being able to figure out shortstop, we might lose the hitter that Gleyber was. We might lose that ability to tap into that guy again. If he has to stay in his head trying to figure out how he's supposed to play a position that we all know he's not supposed to be playing in 2021. I don't care if he was a shortstop when he came up with the Cubs. In 2021, Gleyber Torres is not a shortstop. He's not a shortstop. On a championship team, he's not a shortstop. So move him off of that position. And that's why I said, even if before the trade deadline, we have to move him off, put him at second, put Gio as shortstop, and move LeMahieu to third. LeMahieu's played third before. he looked a little shaky that first game that he played third against Tampa Bay, but that's because he hadn't been there in so long because Gio holds it down. But if LeMahieu gets regular reps at third base, he's going to be fine there. And Gio will probably be fine to hold us over until we get a Trevor Story. You put Gleyber back at second, you hold on to Voit at first, and I like that infield a lot better than what we've been putting out right now. So, yeah, I agree with a lot of the things you guys are saying, and I think that what Joe said is probably going to be one of the bigger things at the deadline. Is going to tell us a lot. It's going to tell us a lot. This can't be an actual deadline. Like, it can't be a deadline. It needs to be like an alive line for the New York Yankees. We need to win. We need to win the trade deadline.
100%. So going around the table real quickly. Somebody mentioned this in there. If we did have to deal one of the guys in the infield, is it definitely Luke Voit over Gleyber Torres?
I would rather, if it's me, I think I'm giving up Gleyber over Luke at this point.
Wow. Francis, what do you think?
It's Luke Voit. It's Luke Voit for me, and I'm gonna tell you why. Gleyber right now, stock wise, I think if you check the temperature, even though Voit in the age and everything or whatever, but if you check the temperature on a lot of teams, I think they'd be more hot on Voit than they would be on Gleyber because of the shortstop woes and what he's looked like at the plate versus what they just saw from Luke Voit last year. So I think Voit gets us the better return. And that's why I'm not so much worried about what we're losing. I'm more focused on what we could get back. Mm-hmm. And yes, Gleyber's younger and has control, but it's like how many teams need what Gleyber offers right now going into the off season that's on the horizon.
Right.
All those shortstops that are going to be available this winter. Right.
Right. RB, what do you say?
I'm torn between, man. Like I said, Luke Voit's a fan favorite, you know.
RB, we'll have to rip the shirt off like Hulk Hogan. we'll just have to do it.
Don't get me wrong. I love Gleyber. I love Voit. You know, Gleyber's 24. I can seriously say that if Gleyber starts clicking, like a couple seasons ago, didn't he hit like 38 home runs? Like people were like raving about him. Like that's the Gleyber. If we can have that Gleyber, I'm sorry. I'm keeping him. Like he's 24. I still believe in Gleyber. It's all mental. I truly believe it's all mental. It's all in his head. All those errors, catches up to you. But then again, Luke Voit, that dude puts the team on his back. That dude played injured all season long last year with his foot problem. Led the league in home runs. But like I said, I think Luke Voit will be the odd man out. Because I know Cashman's mindset. Gleyber is Voit controllable for multiple years?
Yes.
Yes, 4 years as well.
I believe he still has roughly, I believe, 3 years of control. That's including arbitration.
3 years of control. Look, yeah, I don't see Cashman. I would lean towards I'll keep Gleyber and Voit will be the odd man out because I feel like
so. Yeah, let me pose this one to you guys. So we'll get ready to start wrapping up here, but got a lot of questions that I want to throw out there. Sal throws a pretty good one out, but I think there's a second part to this question. Sal says, would you guys be okay with a lesser deal of a combo, maybe like a Brandon Crawford and a Brandon Belt? Now, let me throw something out there on that one. Brandon Crawford, the Yankees had interest in already.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I would even entertain this one, and I'm actually going back on my word here because I said I feel like the right-handed line doesn't matter. These guys have power to get the ball out anywhere. They're two lefties. And I'm kind of going back on my word on that one. I kind of think there needs to be a little bit of balance. Here's the thing. Here's the only way I do that deal is if you can trade Gleyber right now for a Castillo or for Corbin Burns. That's the only way I entertain a deal like that is if you can move him for a legit top-of-the-line guy, overpowering guy, not somebody that can hit corners. I want somebody who a Cole, somebody you know you have an idea of what you're getting here. So that's the only way I do a deal like that.
Let me pick. What did it? The Reds, when the Yankees were talking with the Reds about Castillo, didn't the Reds ask for Gleyber?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in your case, if that is the case, if we can guarantee, okay, we trade Glaber, we get a Castillo, then I'm 100% in. Like, let's go. I'll make that trade. Like,
right now.
Mhm.
Sorry, Arby, but
No,
right
you're
now
good.
that you just brought that back up, it makes so much sense. Look at Castillo start to the season. Look at Glaber start to the season. Like, I don't know a better match right now, trade partner wise.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. And the Reds need a shortstop desperately. So give them Glaber, and also Glaber's in the National League. We don't have to deal with Glaber. But yes, like piggyback what P said, in that scenario, if you can guarantee me a Castillo or even a Burns or a Woodruff, one of those top tier pitchers, then I'm all in. You have to make if you want to win the World Series, you have to make sacrifices. As much as look at the Dodgers, like what P said earlier. The Dodgers every season, every trade deadline, give me Machado. They don't work out. The next season, give me Mookie Betts. They don't care about holding prospects. It's all about winning. That's the problem with Cashman. He holds these prospects like they're like his kids.
Right. The other funny thing is too, the two teams in the NL West that did this. So you guys remember the only team making deals were the Padres when Preller took over? It was like every other day there was a new deal. Like, what's going on here? He took like 3 years to build a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that bothers me more than that. I don't want to rant too much, but I gotta watch out for my heart and everything. Here's the thing that drives me mad though. The Yankees had the same damn thing, but they had better. Not kind of the same because the San Diego got money too. But the Yankees had money. They had the farm system. They got everything. They could have did all that. Once Gary came through, Sevy came through, Judge came through, all these guys came through. The Yankees went out there, and I'm not complaining because at the time I was happy. But they got a DH. They got Stanton, who was the DH over Manny Machado or Bryce Harper. Because that was the trade-off.
And you said this years ago. I keep telling people Stanton's deal literally ruined our chance of Machado or Bryce Harper.
Well, look, Stanton's deal would have been okay if he could actually play the outfield, and he's not taking up DH.
That is true.
If the Yankees, and I'm not joking when I say this, if Brian Cashman knew that Stanton was just going to be a DH, he should be fired. He should have been gone. Even right now, if they find out now, Brian, look, come on, you got to go. Why? The Stanton deal. That was years ago. The Stanton deal. Go. Get out.
Statute of limitations. You still got to go.
Well, Francis, look, here's the other thing. None of us want to give up Luke Voigt.
No.
The reason you would have to give him up is because of Stanton.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nobody who in their right mind would sit here as a Yankee fan and go, trade Luke Voigt, because that makes the most sense.
Here's another question. If Stanton wasn't in the team, would the Yankees have Lindor right now?
Possibly. But let me one up you. Let me one up you though. Even if they didn't get Lindor, they'd have Machado at third base or Harper in the outfield.
That's my thing. Like when you look at that deal, right? Okay, we can acquire Stanton this year, even though we're a year removed from Bryce Harper hitting the market, and Boris is going to want the New York Yankees in that market to drive up that price. So you have a meeting with Bryce Harper before he even touches free agency. It's already set up. And we chose the right-handed bat who now can't play the outfield over the left-handed bat who can play the outfield. Like, I don't think we even have to get into what Bryce would be doing at Yankee Stadium right now.
Oh my God.
Like,
it's
sick. It's sickening.
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, no, I'm good.
You know what was the main concern from the Yankees when they had some interest with Bryce Harper? The outfield struggles. Like, he's not a great outfielder. Are you kidding me?
The outfield struggles.
They complain about Harper outfield struggles, but they're over here benching Fraser because of a mental, like a drop or pop up. Come on now.
Hey, Arby. I mean, my thing is, if the outfield struggles are so bad, why not just DH him? We're paying Stan $27 million a year to DH. So if Harper couldn't play the field, we could have just DH'd him. At least he's a lefty.
That's exactly.
I don't want this to sound like we're bashing Stanton, because I think we all appreciate what Stanton did last year in the postseason, and we all still think
Stan.
he's good.
I got no problem with Stan. I just hate that he's a DH.
Exactly.
I hate having a young man as a DH, a young man that is built like an Egyptian god. But he can't play the outfield.
It's like what I said earlier. We have the most expensive DH in MLB history. It's Stanton. Like,
and I'm sorry too. Let me get a fat guy like Big Papi. Let him look. Let's make him look like a DH. I don't want my DH again looking like he just walked out of the gates of heaven with a 6-pack shining. And oh, look at me, everyone. It's sad that he's a DH. It's sad.
Yeah, I love Stanton. Don't get me wrong. We are not bashing Stanton. We all love Stanton. But like you said, Pete, if they knew that Stanton was going to be a purely DH, then yeah, Cashman needs to go, because that was a terrible trade. Because it literally cost us Machado, Harper, and I'm going to include Lindor, because Cash, I forgot who reported it. I think it was Dan Federico. I don't know if you guys know him. He was in a podcast, and he said that Cashman had a deal. Had a trade with the Indians on Glaber, Lindor, and Carrasco. Mm-hmm. But how rejected it, because he didn't want to offer another $300 million contract.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I say, that Stanton literally cost us Lindor and Machado and Harper.
Well, that's part of the story conversation also that I'll have in the video.
Yeah,
is there's been a lot of talk that the Yankees may not do much at all. You know, people brought up like Corey Seager and all that. I also, recently I also heard about that too, that there's also rumors he's not looking to add more to this and the scary thing about that is, if I know we're focused on this year, and I want to stay there as we get ready to wrap up here, but over the next couple of years, they got some big decisions to make.
Yeah.
Huge.
What do you do with Aaron Judge? Do you feel you got to bring him back? What do you do if Gary Sanchez starts to get hot? These guys aren't going to ask for, oh, you're the Yankees, so we'll only accept $14 million a year. No, because the Giants or the Angels, trust me, when Aaron Judge is a free agent,
oh yeah,
he's going to remember this stuff that the Yankees have done to him already, that he hasn't been re-signed yet.
Yeah.
He's going to remember all that. And trust me, when that hometown comes calling you, the Dodgers, I don't know about Dodgers, but the Angels, Giants,
San Francisco,
who are going to have all of that. And they're going to go, hey, look, buddy, you're from Vallejo or whatever, wherever he's from out there. Come on home. What do you want? We want you here.
Can you imagine Trout and Judge?
Hey, but see, that's what a GM needs to have. An Ohtani. A GM needs to have that outlook. You got to be able to recognize that. The Yankees aren't going to resign all these guys. It's impossible. They can't.
So, but my question to you guys is, because everybody asks me, do you give Judge a long-term contract? And to be honest, right now, I'll be very hesitant to do that because of an injury history. Can you imagine we give Judge an 8-year deal, $200 million plus, and he's missing a lot of games, or you know what I mean, injury prone? Like, we're gonna be screwed.
Well, the best and the worst case scenario for the Yankees altogether, lumped in one, is that Judge has a healthy year and hits great, like he could do. As long as he's healthy, he's gonna have a very good year. That's the worst thing and the best thing that can happen for the Yankees, because it's the worst thing, because at that point he could say, all right, enough is enough. Where's my money? Like, we need to sit down and make a deal here. And the worst case scenario, the best case scenario, that is if he is, he does great, they move forward, they do well, and they possibly win with him now. But there is that possibility that if he has a full year, which we all hope he does, you got to pay him. Because he's the guy I'm paying over everybody. He's the guy I'm paying over anyone, over Sanchez and all of them.
Oh yeah,
he's healthy.
Of course.
Yeah. What kind of a contract would you guys
with
give
Judge? And that's where I was about to go with it. With Judge, I feel like our biggest mistake is not having conversations. Like I'm not saying that we should have signed into an extension already, but I feel like we should be starting these conversations. Like we none of us on this chat right now could give the people watching this live a ballpark on what Judge is going to cost. Do you know why? Because they're not even having the conversation.
Yeah.
They're waiting for it to sneak up on them. And then Cashman's going to, you know, have that press conference. Yeah, you know, we're going to do the best that we possibly can to keep the guys that we want. It's the same thing every time. Why do they act like they don't know this is coming? Speak to him. He's on your team right now. Like he's in your clubhouse right now.
That's a Brian Cashman thing.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it.
I know nobody in there, right? Especially right now in baseball, because back in the day, if you guys remember, it was always an older guys game, right? You still had you guys in your 35s doing well, 36 year veterans. Now it's like, if they're ready at AA, we call them up.
Yeah.
And we lock these guys up long term. It's like the Rays did it with Longoria. That's going back. That's like the earliest one I remember. Everybody's like, God, they already signed him long term. Yeah, because it was the smart thing to do. The Yankees don't do that. And yes, sometimes I understand that makes a little bit of sense. So for an example, let's say if Severino comes back and does great. His deal is wonderful.
Bargain.
Yeah.
A bargain
deal.
So that was a smart
the
move.
DeGrom thing.
The DeGrom one, exactly. So those are smart moves that have paid off. But the Yankees are very, very unwilling to do that with anybody. Look, we're seeing it with arguably top 5 hitters in baseball when he's healthy is Aaron Judge. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is have the conversation to see where he's at with it. Because guess what? Aaron Judge also is aware that he's injury prone. I think at this point, I think he realizes, you know, it's not just us that know something he doesn't know. I think if you start having these conversations and you start telling him, look, we want you to be here. If you want to be here, why don't we start talking, find where you're at, and then we can tell you where we're at, and we can start this process now. This way, by the time it gets closer, we're probably closer than if we just wait until you hit free agency. We don't know. Like, you can probably get him for a lower AAV and a longer deal, which people are going to say, oh, longer deal, like he's injury prone, whatever. But it's like, yeah, look at what we just did with DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu was first signed for 2 years, $24 million at a value. Now we just signed him for 6 years, and he's still at a value. It's 6 years. It's a long deal. But his average annual value, even in the older years of his contract, that AAV isn't going to hurt us in terms of luxury tax. Right. That's why that deal was a smart deal. And I was like, wow, who made this? Because it couldn't have been Brian Cashman. That must have been DJ's camp. That must have been DJ's camp that came up with that, because Cashman doesn't think that way. And I'm like, if you're thinking this way with Judge, right? Maybe you tell him, listen, hey, maybe you're not going to be a $35 million a year guy. I mean, he should know that because he's going to be in his 30s by the time he hits it, right? Maybe you're not a $30 million a year guy. Maybe you're not even a $27 million a year guy like your buddy Giancarlo, right? But we can give you the security, right, of 12 million, 13 million for a good amount of years, and maybe he bites. You don't know. Because what if next year he misses another 20 games or something? You know what I'm saying?
100% right.
So I don't know. I'm just saying, why are we at least having the conversation?
Yeah, definitely. So guys, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this first roundtable. We still have more people to join us also, so it's gonna get even larger than this. But man, this thing has been absolutely awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we have. It's been extremely fun. So with that being said, everybody, Pete Simonetti here, RB, Francis, Joe, we are out. Talk to you guys again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.